Hello everybody, it's Aaron, back from Screen Stars, and I'm here once again to give another review for Geek, Legion of Doom. And today I'm here to review the 2019 thriller Acts of Desperation, a film that is directed by Richard Friedman and stars Jason Gedrick, who you may remember from the 1980s action flick Iron Eagle. We have Paul Sorvino, we have Kira Reed Lorsch, and Trevor Etienne and Erin O'Brien. Now this is a thriller, but there's a layer of humour as well in this film, so it's almost like a thriller stroke comedy, this film, in some ways. And it focuses on a group of characters. It's one of those films where we have a number of characters in the film and all their stories become intertwined, and right at the end, the conclusion, all their stories come to a natural end, if you like. And Jason Gedrick's character is a police detective who suspects his wife is having an affair, which is eating away at him. He was wounded recently in the force, so that's affected him badly, and he's convinced his wife's having an affair. We also have a character called Glenn Close, who is a bank robber, basically. He's a very polite bank robber from England, and we initially see him waiting in a cafe to rob a bank, and he does it very politely. He goes in disguise and politely asks for money and shows them a bomb, and he always gets away with it. I think it mentions in the film he's robbed 7 banks this way. And while he's sat in this cafe waiting to rob this bank, there are 2 stoners, 2 guys, who, one of them is so stoned really, they just want to eat pancakes, but he's so stoned he thinks this guy who's robbing the bank is Morgan Freeman, because he's got like grey eyebrows and a beard and stuff, as his disguise. And as a bet, they decide to find out if it is Morgan Freeman, and they steal his ID and realise, oh, it's not Morgan Freeman. So he robs this bank, and as he's driving away from the bank scot-free, he sees a woman trying to commit suicide by jumping off a bridge. Now this woman, Morgan, is very upset by something, and the bank robber Glenn manages to talk her down and gives her a lift home, and they start becoming friends. But what he doesn't know is the lady who's just jumping off the bridge has been having a relationship with the wife of the police officer who's convinced she's having an affair. The story then goes on. The 2 stoners realise by looking at news footage on the TV that the guy they saw in the cafe is actually the guy that robbed the bank by the description of the people being interviewed. They've got his ID and his address. They decide to try and blackmail him. The police detective keeps getting angrier and angrier, still convinced his wife's having an affair, starts investigating that, starts getting more and more out of control. Paul Sorvino plays the chief of police sort of thing, who keeps getting on his case. It's only a mild cameo really by him. And these stories just keep escalating and escalating. Morgan, who is becoming friends with Glenn, realises he's a bank robber. She wants to become part of it and get some excitement in her life. And their paths, slowly as the film goes on, come closer and closer together, till right at the end there is a scene where they all meet up, and everything is out in the open, etc, etc, sort of thing. Right, quite a hard film to explain this because it's got so many plot lines like shooting off in different directions. What did I think of Acts of Desperation? It's okay. It's just nothing outstanding. It was watchable. I think the problem I had with this really was that comedy streak that goes through it, which mainly comes from the two stoners, because you've got Jason Gedrick's character, who's very, very dark actually. He's in a really bad place. And then you get these 2 stoners who are really morons basically, and it's like you'll go from one quite dark scene to these 2 stoners who have been trying to be funny, and the film's trying to be funny at that point, and the tone's too much for you, and it doesn't work, the humour, I don't think, for the most part, the attempts at humour. The relationship between Jason Gedrick's wife, Sadie, and Morgan didn't work for me. Didn't feel anything about it. It didn't feel like there was any kind of relationship there. It was just a plot point. The one who's really trying in this film is actually Jason Gedrick. He puts in a pretty dark performance here for the most part. A very, very hurt character. Glenn, the bank robber, is quite a charming character, but that's it really. And it's okay, this film. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 because it's just right. It's very middle of the road, this film. It's watchable if you like thrillers and reasonably complex storylines. Don't get me wrong, it's not Usual Suspects or anything, do you know what I mean? It's okay, it's well made, the production values are okay, performances generally are okay. There's a couple of scenes where characters have to emote a little bit and it's a little bit like that, but it was alright. I think the characters could have done with being a little bit more interesting, and I think maybe the humour dialed down a bit, and the tension dialed up a bit, and I think it probably would have benefited the film maybe a little bit more. So that's my review for Acts of Desperation. 5 out of 10. It's okay, it's middle of the road type stuff. So thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time with another review.